3, 2, 1, start. Hello, everyone. Monica Corrado here, the GAPS Chef. I am on my phone today because the computer had lots of glitches. So in any case, I'm here. I'm happy to be with you, and I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm hoping that I will be able to see the questions on my phone. If not, then I'm hoping that I'll be able to find the questions on my computer. In any case, Monica Corrado here, the GAPS Chef. My desire in doing an intention in doing these Facebook Lives, if you will, is to answer your questions about the GAPS diet. So, today I thought we'd talk a little bit. First I have to say I'm not a medical doctor. So everything I say is based on my understanding of the gut and psychology syndrome and the gut and physiology syndrome, which are, they were written by Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride, and they are the GAPS diet. So today I thought I'd talk a little bit about yogurt. And I want to talk about yogurt because there are some misunderstandings about cultured dairy, and I thought it might be helpful. So what do I want to say? What I want to say is that all of you know that we are supposed to be making homemade cultured dairy on the GAPS diet. Homemade cultured dairy, that means that you're making your own yogurt, you're making your own kefir or kefir. You're making your own GAPS sour cream, which is also known as creme fraiche or cultured cream that we culture with yogurt culture. And we also make kefir cream and cultured butter and ghee, and all those things are to be homemade on GAPS. Why? Because when they're homemade, you know their quality. You know, you're able to really know whether or not the milk came from happy cows. I know you think I'm kidding, but cows that were raised on pasture, cows that were grass-fed, right? Cows that were out in the sunshine and not in a feedlot or whatever. In any case, so you can control quality of ingredients. When you make your own, you also control the fact that you control the lactose content. We know that commercial cultured dairy, even if it's organic, will be high in lactose because it's not cultured long enough. So in GAPS, we culture our yogurt 24 hours, maybe 25 hours, maybe 26 hours. Same thing with kefir or kefir. We culture it about 24 hours or until at room temperature or until you get that little tiny line of whey on the bottom of the jar. So again, yogurt, kefir, creme fraiche, cultured cream, etc., are all to be homemade on GAPS. So it's not only about the quality of the ingredients, it's also about potency. Potent, right? We are eating yogurt, we're consuming yogurt, kefir, cultured cream, not only for the beautiful bioavailable calcium, not only for the protein and or the fat, right? Not only for the live enzymes, etc., but we are consuming them because they are a cultured food. That means they are live and they are to have live bacteria and or yeast, right? Yogurt is mostly bacteria. Kefir is mostly yeast. They both have a little bit. It's kind of like the yin and yang symbol, right? Mostly this with a little bit of that. Mostly this with a little bit of that. So yogurt is mostly lactobacilli with a little bit of yeast. Kefir is mostly yeast, lactic acid producing yeast, little bit of lactic acid producing bacteria. Okay, so potency is it. That's what I really wanted to talk about today. I know that some people use commercial yogurt as their starter to make yogurt. That is fine to do. Please make sure, number one, that commercial yogurt you're using, that the yogurt you buy in the store as a starter, that it is organic, preferably from grass-fed cows, but that's always the Cadillac, right? So it's organic, yeah. It has no fillers. It's whole milk, right? It's just beautiful whole milk, plain organic yogurt. All right. So some people use that as their starter to make their own yogurt, and that is fine to do. However, the potency of that will be much lower than if you use a starter that you purchase, or if you use yogurt that your friend gave you, almost, unless they use that commercial yogurt as a starter. So in any case, potency matters. It matters. In terms of die-off, the more potent your yogurt is, the more die-off you'll get, right? The less potent your yogurt is, the less die-off you'll get. Why? Because you're bringing in more lactobacilli with a more potent yogurt starter or yogurt starter culture. So that's going to matter. It's going to matter because we're trying to change the gut bacteria. We're trying to bring in the beneficial lactobacilli. We're trying to repopulate the gut with beneficial bacteria, beneficial bacteria, lactic acid producing bacteria, lactobacilli. You're trying to repopulate the gut. So potency matters. So I just want to give that to you because it's really not, it's all yogurt, ha ha ha. It's not like apples and zucchinis. I'm Italian, I say zucchinis instead of oranges. It's not like apples and a piece of steak. It's all yogurt, but it really matters the type of culture that you use to make that yogurt in terms of whether or not you're getting a potent batch. So here's an example. Let's say you're going along, you're trekking right along, you're making your yogurt, la la la, you're using the thermos method, which is my favorite, so easy to use. You're making it for 24 hours, it's gorgeous. You're using a yogurt that you bought at the store. Maple Hill, perhaps. Who else is good? I think Alexander makes one. A2A2. I'm thinking of grass-fed yogurts that are plain and organic. In any case, maybe it's Nancy's that you use. Nancy's grass-fed, organic, plain yogurt, whole milk. And you're eating about a cup of that a day. Maybe you're eating 2 cups a day, tra-la. And then you switch over to a yogurt starter that you bought from a company. I personally like Cultures for Health. I think they're excellent. I think they do really wonderful customer service and really wonderful education right there on their website. They're giving it away all the time, so I love using them and sending people there. So let's say you decide, oh, I'm going to try something from Cultures for Health. And then you make that beautiful yogurt. It's gorgeous, tra-la. You eat a cup of it or 2 cups of it, the same amount that you ate with the less potent starter. Note to self, you're going to have more die-off. Does that matter? Yeah, that matters because you're not going to feel too good. If you go from a lower potency yogurt, cup a day, to a higher potency yogurt, cup a day, you're going to have some die-off. So I just wanted to bring that in as a fine-tuning point, a finer point, As all of you are going along making beautiful, wonderful, incredible yogurt, blessings on your journey making yogurt, yeah? Giving your children and yourselves, your spouses, whoever, grandma, fabulous, homemade, GAPS compliant yogurt, meaning lactose free, right? So I know it's work, folks, to source. I know it takes effort, but it really is such a wonderful thing when you see those kids thriving because they're having homemade by mom or dad or sis or bro or maybe grandma or auntie or uncle, whoever, making homemade yogurt for them. Really matters. So those are the things I wanted to talk about today. I'm happy to take questions if people have them. I am not sure how to actually find questions on this group. Where is it? Hello, 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 hello. I'm seeing people, but I'm not finding any questions. So I'm going to open up my computer here while I'm holding my phone. Hold on. To see if I can actually see any of you. Won't that be fun? It's kind of fun. Facebook. Anyway. All right. Let's see if I can just get home. I'm going home. And I am going to... trying to not like lose you while I'm looking. I'm going to get to my page, my group. And then I'll take questions there. So... as you can all see, oh yay, hooray, there's people there. Okay, hello. Hello, Michelle. I'm so glad that you found me. Hello, Cindy. Hooray. I don't have any idea about whether or not you all can type in any kind of comments there and I can take questions. I don't see any questions. All right, cool. Hi, Jessica. Good to have you. All right, so I'm here. If you want to type a question there, comment underneath my photo, which is so interesting. It makes me look like I am 100 years old today, but I'm not. Anyway, so send me some questions and I will go ahead and answer them for you. I know I've got two screens going. One is my phone and one is, I'm wondering if they could, nope, I can't do it there either. And one is my Facebook page on my computer. Hello, Sabina. How are you? You typed out something earlier. I'll go look. Oh, there we go. Hooray. I see some things. All right. All comments. All right, Michelle, I found you. All right. Wow, look at all that. Okay, here we go. Tara asks, hi there. Is there something special about sauerkraut, kimchi, and beet kvass compared to fermented cucumbers or any other fermented veggie? I'm asking because my family does not like cabbage or beets, but would love to know if certain fermented foods have a higher quality for healing. Fabulous question. Fabulous question. All right. Yes, there is something special about cabbage and beets. I would go ahead and look, I believe in my featured posts, in featured posts on this page, there is a post, an article that I wrote called, I think it's Cabbage Tonic and Beet Kvass, Which When? So that will tell you a lot about the cabbage tonic and sauerkraut, same, and beet kvass. Let's just say that cabbage, whether it's kimchi or it's sauerkraut or it's cortito or it's cabbage tonic, cabbage is specific for digestion. It's really helpful for anything having to do with the stomach. So if you're trying to get your stomach acid increased, it's wonderful to eat before a meal. Dr. Natasha loves telling people to have raw cabbage salad. We would call something like that a coleslaw in the US. But anyway, cabbage is great for kicking up digestion, increasing digestion. Beets are specific to, think about beets, red beets, by the way, red beets. Red beets are really very good for the liver. The liver. L-I-V-A or L-I-V-E-R. Yeah? So, red beets are great for the liver and for the blood. So, we like to call beet kvass a liver tonic, a blood tonic, etc. So, not only are all of the lactoferments blessings, if you will, to your system because they are fermented, they are live lactobacilli, they have increased vitamin C, they have live enzymes, they have all these wonderful things, but beets are also very good for the liver. They help with bowel movements. Beets move the bile that gets your bowels moving, folks. So that's a cool thing to remember. So yes, they are very, very good for you, and they'd be great for you to have every day. Okay, so the other thing, so as I was saying, all of these things, whether you make fermented cucumbers, gingered fermented carrots, you're making daikon radish, you're fermenting broccoli, whatever you're fermenting, it's a lacto-fermented food, and therefore, all lactoferments that are fermented with lactic acid producing bacteria or are simply fermented with salt, which will allow the lactic acid bacteria to grow, they're all ferments. So they all have the blessings of being ferments. They all will give you beneficial bacteria, enzymes, B vitamins, increased C vitamins, and lots of other things. So eat them. Make fermented ketchup, make fermented mustard, make fermented everything. Ferment, eat it, ferment, ferment, ferment. The gifts of the cabbage and the beet are, as I said, sauerkraut or anything made with cabbage will be specific to the stomach. And then beets, specifically red beets, are for the liver and for the blood. And so that is why I, Monica Corrado, as a certified GAPS practitioner, will encourage you all to have beet kvass on an empty stomach in the morning when you first get up, or in the evening before you go to bed, or any other time during the day when you have an empty stomach, because it will leverage the detoxification properties of beets. I hope that's helpful. All right. Cool, Magoo. All right, Michelle's here. Michelle. Okay, sorry, I'm singing today. I'm entering being able to do more with cow milk and cream. Yes. Go, Michelle. So happy to hear. It's been years. I'm excited. A question I've been wondering, will fermented cream whip into whipped cream? Yes. Either creme fraiche or sour cream? Yes. Does the consistency of the final product probably impact how it will behave? Yes. Does the inoculant chosen have an impact? Not so much. My guess is the results of the fermenting process and consistency of the product would be more important than the fact that it was fermented, and thereby it might be hard to predict. But is there any advice in general about how this might go? I'm trying to move away from using as much coconut cream as I have in favor of something I can access locally as I am able. Go, Michelle. Yes. So, folks, let's just think. You know this answer. I know you do. Starting over. How do we make cultured butter? We culture the cream first, and then we whip it so long that it becomes butter. But in between the cultured cream and the butter, there's whipped cream, right? Whipped cream is just not yet butter, and butter is whipped cream that you over whipped. So I would play with it. I would probably do something like use creme fraiche or GAPS sour cream made with a mild culture like yogurt. I would use that as opposed to a kefir cream, because kefir cream can be quite tart. Yes. So rock and roll. Let us know how you do. It'll be great. Okay. Sabina says, I hope I'm saying that right. Trying. I have a question regarding my older daughter, 17 years old. She's not currently on GAPS, but she does occasionally drink meat broth. We call it meat stock, everybody, just so we don't get confused between bone broth and meat stock. Homemade yogurt and sour cream. She was recently diagnosed with bile acid malabsorption. I am going to cross myself, sorry. She was recently diagnosed with bile acid malabsorption. What can we do? The doctor said no white flour, no sugar, less fruit because she has a yeast infection, candida, in her gut. Remembering, folks, that yeast are not old. Now, I don't know your situation, but I'm just going to offer this to everyone. Yeast populate. The body invites yeast for two reasons, usually. One, they're eating too much white flour, white sugar, carbohydrates, pasta, bread, whatever, fruit, candy bars, maybe no candy bars, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Or they have toxins in the body that the yeast is trying to protect you from, usually heavy metals. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. We can talk about that more later. Okay. And she should eat little fat. She has also prescribed several supplements, including apple pectin, which I'm going to cross myself again. Really? Apple pectin? Why? I'd like her to do the intro, but she's resisting. She's willing to do full GAPS. What would you recommend? I would recommend, let me start over. Start from a different place. You know, the older they get, the harder it is, folks, right? It's so much easier. I'll have people come to me and say, oh, I can't do the GAPS diet. My child is 2 and they just are too they just won't eat it. Or they're 3 or they're 5 or they're 6, they're 8, right? We can't do GAPS because it's just gonna be too hard. Let me just say, folks, that GAPS gets so much harder the older they get because now they don't want to do it. They may not want to do it. They may not. Some do when they feel badly enough and they want to feel better. But things like, hey, I've got like diagnosed bile acid malabsorption. I don't know how that's showing up for her body. Maybe you could type in, what are the symptoms of bile acid malabsorption? How does her body feel? That's what we want to know, right? Like, is there something that's happening in her body that is telling you there's a problem with her bile acid? I don't know. So I just want to say, folks, like, it doesn't get easier when they get older until they get into so much pain that they'll actually do anything to feel better, and they will change their diet. I'm just putting that out there. Do it early, folks. Do it early. Work with the children when they're 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, whatever. Because right then, you're still in charge. You're the mom or the dad or the person who's cooking, whoever you are. So if you're cooking, they're eating, and that's it, right? So I'm just responding to this thing about she's willing to do full GAPS. She's willing. Okay, good. So do full GAPS and do everything that we don't like, right? So no fruit, no nuts, no beans, no lentils, no seeds, right? No nuts, no seeds, no beans, no lentils, no fruit. I would do all those things. Take out everything. If you're working with me, people know I'm going to say, do full GAPS, modified full GAPS. Take out all the sugar. Go higher on the fat, right? So if she has a yeast infection, they're what's driving the sugar anyway, and they want to eat the sugar. And I would really work on her liver and her gallbladder. I am not a medical doctor, so I can't tell you to do anything. But if we were working together, I would be doing things like castor oil packs on her liver every night, because that can help get things moving. right? I would be working with only really pure animal fats. Cultured ghee, of course. Coconut oil, yes. And I would take those things out. But the thing that I'm trying to say to all of you folks, how do you feel? How does the body feel? How is the body talking to you? Right? That's really what we want to know. Not what did the test say? I mean, right? We don't use a lot of tests on GAPS, just letting everybody know. Because we want to know, how does the body feel? So that's what I've got. If she'll do, I would do whatever she'll do. If she'll do full, great, but do a modified full GAPS, which is what I was suggesting, which is modified full to me means no nuts, no seeds, no beans, GAPS beans, no lentils, no fruit, nada. High fat, good organ meats, absolutely. And let's get that detox protocol going. I hope that's helpful. All right, don't worry, Michelle. I actually went on and then it didn't work. My camera didn't work. I went on again. My camera didn't work. So I said, forget it. I'm getting on my phone. So here we are. Okay, here's Laura again. Hello, Laura. How do we take diatomaceous earth and when do we take activated charcoal to absorb toxins? You know, I don't really work with diatomaceous earth at all. I do work with activated charcoal. The thing that you want to be careful about, let me say it a different way. Activated charcoal is going to absorb whatever you have it with. So if you want it to absorb toxins, you take it in between meals, right? Empty stomach. If you take it, so if you eat bad food, like you went out to, I don't know, somewhere and they had GMO, blah, 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 and that's what you ate, and you feel terrible, or you feel like you ate something bad, and you might have quote unquote food poisoning, then you take the activated charcoal with the meal or close to whatever you ate, because then it'll pull it out. Hope that's helpful. But activated charcoal is something that you take in between meals, empty stomach, if you're asking, if your desire, if your intention on taking it is to make sure that that the charcoal is absorbing toxins in the gut that maybe there. I have to tell you, I prefer zeolite. There's a fabulous, there is a fabulous product called Detoxify sitting on drtomcowan.com. Detoxify is made by Raw Revelations. They have charcoal and zeolite in the same product. It's fantastic. That's the one that it's also on my website, blah, 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 Simply Being Well. Okay. Can you talk about eating within an hour of waking to stabilize blood sugar? No. I don't have any idea, and I'm not sure if that's even a thing. So I can't, Anna. I'm sorry about that. Walking is a great thing to do. It's really wonderful for you. Hi, Heidi. Hello, Elena. Hello, Becca. Hello, Anne. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Rosa Maria. Oh, look at all these fabulous peoples. Okay, let's see. All right, Elena, your question about obstructions in the ileum, I cannot answer because I'm not a medical doctor. All right, I'm going to come back up here and see what I missed. Hold on, we're looking. I'm looking. Okay. We are going to talk about Lena. Okay, Lena, it's been a while. Lena, deep causes of allergies. I've healed mine on GAPS within several months and completely med-free. Yay! Let's all go, hooray. Awesome. However, a friend with allergies on GAPS for a year and there's no improvement whatsoever, mostly sneezing, would like to ask about causes and what else can be done for deeper healing. Okay, so first of all, I would like to know how your friend is doing GAPS to make sure that there actually aren't any tweaks that could be done for your friend who's not getting any improvement whatsoever. Because, yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing is we need to know that allergies only happen, I'll say it differently. Allergies do not happen with an acidified gut, which is what you need. So the first thing I would do would be to look at the stomach acid test and see if your friend has done the stomach acid test. It's sitting on this page under featured posts. It's called the stomach acid test. It's a baking soda test. If you are not producing enough stomach acid, you will have allergies. So let's look there first. The next thing that this person could do would be to drink some apple cider vinegar diluted in water throughout the day. The next thing this person could do, there's a lot of things this person could do. I'm trying to think about what would be most helpful. Hold on. So apple cider vinegar through the day. Do the stomach acid test. Yeah. I know that there's a fabulous homeopathic called histaminum. Histamine, histaminum, histamine, histaminum. Remember that what we must do in order to have those allergies calm down is to heal and seal the gut. So one of the things I'd ask your friend, because I don't know them, is how much meat stock your friend is drinking every day, and see if they'll do 3 to 4 cups a day or 3 cups a day of just the stock for, I don't know, a couple of months. I would start there. Anyway, again, I don't know this person, and I haven't done an intake. I'm so sorry, pardon me. And so that's the best I can do given what you're saying, but I'm sure there are some tweaks that could be done in order to get those allergies to go. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about taking salt before blah, blah, blah to decrease allergic reaction. Remember, what is an allergic reaction? It's a histamine response. Why is there a histamine response? Because there are things getting into the bloodstream that shouldn't get into the bloodstream. Histamine is a natural response of the body. It's what it does when it says, hey, you're eating something that I can't deal with, right? So let's go back to basics, back to stage 1 or 2. Stage 1, 3 to 5 days. Stage 2, sit there. Park on stage 2 for 6 months. No fruit, no grains, no nuts, no seeds, lots of coconut oil. Yeah, and let's do that for your dear friend. And ACV in between, right, during the day to acidify the system. That is something most people don't know, folks. You can't have allergies when your system is acidified. How do you acidify the system? You drink a little apple cider vinegar once in a while. Or you make sure that your your stomach acid production is high enough, right? The stomach must have high production of acid. And most people's stomach acid is low. I've done some other YouTubes on this. Go check it out. Ask the GAPS Chef. It's sitting on YouTube. Facebook takes down all of my videos now, everybody's videos. So after a couple weeks. So you have to go to the YouTube channel. Okay. Let's see. Hello, Heidi. Wondering if you can offer any suggestions for a patient with Crohn's who is 90% full GAPS with a few rare cheat. I would put that person on no plant immediately. Sorry, group. If you have Crohn's or IBS, you're a no plant person, at least for like 3 to 6 months. I mean, maybe 3 months is enough. Still has a gurgly stomach, not feeling like food is digesting. Look at stomach acid one more time with feeling Heidi and everybody else. When food is not digesting, we need to look at 2 things. 1 is stomach acid production, right? 2 is enzymes. Remember, GAPS is way okay with all of you using a stomach acid booster, which could be anything from, in my book, right? In my book, what's a stomach acid booster? raw, well, Dr. Natasha would say too, raw cabbage salad prior to a meal. Cabbage tonic, bitters, that's for my book. Bitters from a place like Blossom's Farm, maybe. Bitters that you drink before a meal, right? Like, how do we get stomach acid up? Or hydrochloric acid with pepsin, betaine HCl. I prefer Zypan from Standard Process, but you can do that. And also, you really want to look at enzymes. Enzymes. So enzymes you take prior to the meal. Stomach acid booster, if it's actually hydrochloric acid, you take, I suggest that you take it after a couple bites of food, etc. So, yeah, if your food is not digesting, folks, we have to look to stomach acid production levels and enzymes. And then what are the foods that are going to help you digest? How about ginger tea? Ginger tea is a prokinetic. Pro helps with movement, right? So ginger tea helps with movement. Bad insomnia, chronic sinus, sinus, whatever's going on in the head is going on in the bowel. So yeah, stage 2 is great. No, I think this person definitely needs kefir. Remember, we like cultured dairy because it brings up the toxins, right? We like mucus. I know I sound crazy right now. We like mucus. We call it, Dr. Natasha calls it the mucociliary escalator. The mucociliary escalator. All the mucus comes up when you drink kefir. I would not take kefir out. Oh, it's a he. Okay. I would not take kefir out. I would really work on stomach acid. Work on that stomach acid. Stomach acid, digestive enzymes. Start there. Chronic sinus congestion equals put the probiotic, Biocult, on the back of the tongue at nighttime before bed. Okay, I hope that's helpful. All right, Elena asks, how do you make sardine broth with frozen sardines and blend in the heads? Would you just blend in the whole fish? Carefully. Sorry, I'm a little bit punchy today. How do you make sardine broth? The same way you make every fish broth, right? The fish goes in the pot, you fill it with 1 inch or more of 1 to 2 inches, probably 1 inch of water. You throw in a little salt, you bring it to a boil, you skim the scum, you put it down to a simmer, you put the lid on, you cook for maybe an hour. Done. Would you blend in the whole fish? You can. You can blend it in if you want to, and then strain it. Rock and roll. Have fun with that. Very good. Right? So people want to know, so fish broth is all, fish stock is covered in the blue book, the yellow book, my book, etc. Are these recorded? Yes, these are recorded. Hello, Becca. Hello, Becca. Hello, Ann or Ann. Aw. Okay, how are we doing here? Let's see. Okay. I'm going to do a couple quick ones and then a longer one. Are you having fun with me? I have absolutely, this is me holding my phone because I want to be with you and because my computer on Facebook did not work today and I don't know why. So here we are doing our best. All right. Teresa. Hello, Teresa. Teresa says or asks, anything to ease esophagitis caused by GERD? Lots of inflammation. So GERD. G-E-R-D. GERD is a low stomach acid problem. So I would increase stomach acid, number 1. Do the stomach acid test first if you're not sure. Increase stomach acid by the things I just said. You also want to look at candida because that can, microbes, what can I say? How shall I say this? Pathogenic microbes can release toxins that can paralyze open the sphincter between the esophagus and the stomach, right? That's where we get GERD from. Then stomach acid comes up, right? So I would do things like, this is a long haul question, right? I would do things like curb the sugar, like I've been saying the whole time today, sounds like. Bring in, check the stomach acid. Yeah, bring in a stomach acid booster if you need to. Curb the sugar and bring in a lot of kefir. See if kefir makes things calm down, or any cultured dairy. Sometimes it does, it calms it down. Personally, this is Monica, this is not in the GAPS diet. Me, when I work with people. Personally, I have had good success with people getting pure aloe vera juice and drinking that a couple times a day to calm down, just for the inflammation, to get it down. Also adding food grade therapeutic lavender oil to the aloe vera. Believe it or not, I've had a lot of good success with that with people who have actually throat cancer and things like that. So again, those are things that I do when I work with folks, and it can help. Has to be food grade lavender oil, not just for aromatherapy. That will make you very sick. So I did not say that. Okay. I hope that's helpful. Blessings on the inflammation. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. But I would go for root cause, right, Teresa? I mean, go for root cause. We need to get the stomach acid up. We need to get the toxins from the microbes down, which means kefir, 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 more kefir, right? Why do I say kefir? Because kefir is the big guns. It's the one that does all the work. Far more, not all the work, but most of the work because of the yeast. Okay. Let's see what else. Here's another one. Becca asks, any insight into chronic and very severe migraines? Yeah. Sorry. I've been watching all your videos on YouTube, rereading the Blue Book. Go, Becca. I've basically carnivore, no grains, very few fruit or veg for nearly a year because that's all I can eat without getting a terrible migraine. You know, just keep it up. It's important. Listen to your body. We don't want you getting sick. I've started making and drinking meat stock for the last couple of months. Yay! Making and eating ferments, and started drinking kefir again. Yay! I've eaten a Whole Foods decently clean Weston Price diet for 10 plus years. Gearing up to jump into actual GAPS intro soon, which means you need to come to my, ready for a drum roll? I'm starting a GAPS group January 20th. It's for the intro diet. We're going to go through intro for 8 weeks together, learning all about it. So please jump on my website. The group is called, the group is called Jumpstart GAPS. Jumpstart GAPS, 8-week intro diet intensive. It's sitting on my website, simplybeingwell.com. I'm only taking 15 people through, so come on down and check it out. Okay, if you really want to learn intro. Okay, I seem to be able to tolerate a decent amount of stock. Excellent. And ferments. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Probably because I've been consuming them in some capacity over the years. Excellent for taking time to do these lives. You're welcome. I love them. I love all of you that are trying to do this thing. Let's make it easy. That's why I'm here. Okay. It's really helped me a lot. It's really helped me put a lot of pieces together and conceptualize what I've been reading in Dr. Natasha's book. Excellent. So let's just talk about chronic and severe migraines. First of all, I'm sorry, because they are hard. All right, so there's a couple of things. One thing, and I don't know you I don't know your case or whatever. Sorry about case, but I don't know your details. That's better. Or your story. Sometimes chronic and severe migraines are all about structure, which means to look to an osteopath or a craniosacral person. because it's literally about the way that your cranial bones are sitting, believe it or not. I also have people look into acupuncture. So structure first. So just rule that out. The next thing that I would look at is are they connected to your hormones? Because sometimes migraines are hormonal. Okay. The next thing I would look at, which is what Dr. Natasha talks about over and over again, is the connection between migraines and toxins. So she would be, I believe, recommending, as she always does, coffee enemas to clear the migraines. So why? Because not only will the coffee enema get rid of the toxins at the time, it also helps the liver to be far more productive. Productive is a bad word. Far better at detoxing, right? So you may want to do some coffee enemas. That's what she would say. So chronic and very severe. And then, of course, I'm always looking into things like, was there a closed head injury? Again, that would be structure. So is it structural? Does it have to do with hormones? Does it have to do with toxins? If it has to do with toxins, the other piece is to always look to the liver. And is the liver functioning as well as it could be? So sometimes castor oil packs every night, overnight, every night, overnight, every night are very, very helpful to get rid of chronic migraines. So those are the beginnings of things. Listen to your body. Continue to do a lot of, what can I call it? A consistent detox protocol every day. Make sure you're moving your bowels because, of course, constipation can be a part of that. And yeah, keep eating those ferments and that stock and every other darn thing. Yeah, and blessings on your journey. But do think about the structure question. I don't know if anyone has gone over that with you. Okay, let's see. Rosa Maria wants to know how to make ACV at home and how to make sure it does really contain probiotics. Will I need a mother? So it's always a good idea to use something as a starter when you're making something. So if you've got a starter from, meaning a mother, in this case, we call it a mother, but it's a starter, from raw apple cider vinegar, you certainly could use that. And what is apple cider vinegar? It's apple cider that has been allowed to age for a long time. And then what happens? All the microbes eat the sugar and it becomes vinegar. So I would use a mother for sure. And I would just allow the apple cider to ferment at room temperature for a long time, maybe months. All right. In terms of people that have pain and vomiting, I would get to a doctor, medical doctor, and deal with the obstruction. Right? That sounds terrible, and I'm sorry to hear it. For sure. All right. Let's see if there's anything else. I don't know if there are more. I think we got it all, maybe. I think we got it all in, maybe. Anything else? Nope. Nothing else coming in. All right, folks, looks like we are done for now. Such a great time to be with all of you. Na is here. Hello, Na. It's been a while. Ikran is here. Hello. Hello to all of my fabulous Gapsters. Good to have you all with us. Absolutely. I will go ahead and have this. We will do another Facebook Live in 2 weeks, which is, I believe, the day before Thanksgiving. So until then, I send you blessings on your journey. I wish you well in everything that you're doing. Remember that the body wants to come to balance, and all we really need to do is take off the burden, which is all the toxins, and bring in the good stuff, right? Take your time, do your best, give yourself grace, and I will see you all in 2 weeks. Okay. Blessings, everyone. Do visit me on simplybeingwell.com to check out the Jumpstart GAPS group. This is a group experience together, and I hope you'll join me there. Okay. Bye now.